Hello, I'm Johnny Chaffin from Collins Manufacturing, and today we're going to talk about how to change out the kickout lever on our shampoo chairs. What we have here is a box. This is the one that's underneath an 1850L or 1650L. To use as an example, the kickout mechanism is the same on the 8282s, the 5060s, the ES series of chairs, so it's basically they all use the same mechanism. Now we've got a box here that we manufactured without the covering on it, without the seat obviously on it, so we can see inside and you get a better picture of what we're doing. We have just standard hand tools, 7/16 wrench. We're using an adjustable wrench, a pair of pliers to take the spring off. We also have an additional bolt. In the older style chairs, they use 3 bolts. We're going to go back in with the new handle, so we're going to put the 4th bolt in it. That's available at any hardware store. It's just a standard 1/4 20 by 1 inch long bolt and nut. Now I'm going to flip this box over so we can work on it from the bottom side, as you would do in the salon. And in the salon, what you would do is either turn your chair over on its back or put down a pad like I have and turn the chair completely upside down so you can get access to all the hardware. Now let's extend the footrest. Now while we got the footrest extended, let's take a minute to talk about this. Is the torque tube. This is the part that if you're watching this video, chances are you've broken this and you need to replace it. The other thing we'll point out while we're here is that if you were exchanging the entire mechanism, you get 2 halves when you get the mechanism. They're held in by, there's 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here. That's what bolts it to the chair. It also has a calf pad and then the actual pad that you put your foot on, the foot pad. They're also held on with bolts. So if you were changing the entire mechanism, what you would do is remove the torque tube like we're about to do, and then unbolt one side of it, replace that side, replace the second side, and then you would continue on with our procedure for replacing the torque tube. First thing we need to do is get the springs out. That's probably the hardest part of this. You need a really good set of pliers, and you need it extended when you do this because that's the shortest position for the springs. You're just going to take them off these pins, and then you're going to lay those aside for now. Then we need to loosen all the nuts. Now one thing to notice before we take the torque tube completely out is the position of this handle. You'll notice that it's pointed to the rear of the chair. So when we put it back together, that way we make sure that it's all oriented correctly. So we'll take all this loose. Now, the orientation of these tabs is also important. If you get these rotated underneath the bar when you get ready to put it back together, it won't work. And you notice the bar also passes through the hole that's in this bracket. So we'll lay that aside. We have our new bar. It feeds through the bushings. Through the brackets. Too far. Now we have it in position. Now we want to again rotate it to the rear as it would be as the old one was when we took it off. The first nut started. We'll start one down here. If you have 2 chairs in your salon, it'd be advisable to flip the other chair over in the same position where you could use it as a reference point in case you get confused or get turned around when you're putting this back together. Now again, if you had replaced the entire mechanism, you would already have taken care of that before you get to this point. Now I'm going to install my 4th bolt that I picked up at the hardware store. And that just makes this all stronger. Hopefully you hang on to your bolts better than I did. I'm going to go ahead and put it in without the lock washer. for the demonstration purposes. So now we have all the bolts started. What we're going to do is manually close and open it to make sure everything's functioning as it should. It does. So now we can tighten everything down. These just need to be snug. Now, one more time, we'll check our operation. It works good. Now, if you had replaced the mechanism and you close the door and it doesn't seat good, what you want to do before you put the springs on is loosen these bolts, extend this, and then move this back just a little bit. These are slotted, and then tighten them down, and then retest fit it again. So for what we're doing, we're done. You put the springs back on. It's easier if you use the spring to do it. So for the first one, I'm going to do it with a spring, just to make the job easier. And then the second one I'll use the pliers because I don't have another spring. Now, and our footrest closes as it should. Now you turn your chair back over, you're ready to put it back into use. Again, I'm Johnny Chaffin, and thank you very much.